Bull or bear? I'm rolling a 2021 South African Silver Krugerrand. That's right, Silver Krugerrands. Who'd ever thunk? And she comes up a bull. Let's see what happens on Sunday night. You know, I got a gut feeling. I don't think we're going to see a bull on Sunday night because we got a holiday coming up on Monday, but maybe the coin is right. We'll talk about that in a moment. Meanwhile, what a beautiful rainy day. I shouldn't say that. It's the summertime for us, and you know, like in the past, it's kind of funny. Our old weather patterns seem kind of normal now, or it seems so. We're getting our mid-afternoon rainstorms rolling in, and in Southern California, they call these hurricanes. We just call them thunderstorms here in South Florida. And I said that because when I was out there, it just doesn't rain in sunny Southern California, does it? Not much, at least. All right, folks, we're not here to talk about the weather or how beautiful the beaches are here, and the fact that there might be a little wave out there. Maybe I'll get out and longboard it or something like that. All right, certainly going to be too wet for a motorcycle, that's for sure. All right, let me get out of here and move into what we're going to talk about, precious metals here. 2503 market close. Let me just refresh that. I'm pretty sure that was correct. I know we did see some sub $2,500 gold on Friday, but they didn't manage to knock it and keep it there very long. Silver, yeah, sub 29. You know, we're still in that sub $30 level. However, folks, as I have reminded you over and over, if those of you kind of been following for silver for like decades, 4 decades, like I have, more or less, or longer, and more noticeably recently, you'll notice that, you know, the marks are like, you know, 5 to 10, 10 to 5, 10 to I'm sorry, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, and 25 to 30. And just to kind of help some of you folks more recently, you know, the norm was 20 for a little while there, you know, that 15 to 20, and people were wondering, is it going to break that $20 mark? And it did. Then it kind of hung around that $20 mark, a little bit below, you know, 17, 18, 19, then bust up to 22, 23. You know, finally we got that $25 moment. And we actually had that $30 moment too, if you remember, but that was during an unusual time in 2021 when you had the economy closed down and mines closed down and everything, and that's a whole new rabbit hole we can jump down. But we're at that spot right now where we're waiting for that next move, unless we see something really crazy happen and markets just shoot right up, you know, which I'm expecting and I think are long overdue for many different reasons, including I do believe there's a major shortage of silver out there on the industrial size, in the industrial market, I should say, and in those kind of quantities. And the mining is just not cutting it. I don't think refining and re-refining is cutting it either in scrap. And again, I'm in the scrap business, and I can tell you that the silver scrap business is a fraction of what it once was. Even when we were seeing higher silver prices, it just wasn't the same as it was well, remember I was around the 1980 market. Nothing quite rivals that as far as size and scope in gold and silver. But you know, we're at that, not to go down again more rabbit holes, but we're at that $30 to $35 level next. As soon as we clearly hit that $35 level a couple times and bust through that. And there's many people that believe that once we bust through 35 bucks, all bets are off. But you know, I'm not quite so sure. Not all bull markets look alike. I mean, take a look at this gold bull market we're having. It's, you know, unlike past gold markets, you know, that I've kind of noticed. In my opinion, we have been in a bull gold market since 2016, slowly drifting its way up to where it is. You know, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, that kind of deal. Silver, not so much. I just think silver is like a broken mainspring or a wound up mainspring that one more wind, it's just gonna explode. So, but here's the weird thing: is the ratio is not extremely out of whack. I mean, they're still keeping it below that 90 to 1 ratio with gold and silver. Let me just double check that real quick. Hang on one second. 2,503.41 divided by 28.89 equals.
That would be approximately 86.6531.
Yeah, there we go. 86 to 1, thereabouts. I think that, you know, if we saw the ratio go much higher than that for any length of time, and markets are kind of moving upward, yeah, that's when the mainspring in silver breaks. However, with gold, where are we going with gold? I mean, I think there's some folks out there, some technical guys out there like Vince Lancy, who I like to listen to on X, and a few other gentlemen out there as well, and some of the stuff I read. Believe that gold is kind of sitting a little bit long in tooth right now at this $2,500 mark. And there's a lot of shenanigans that go on behind the scenes too, including margins being raised for gold and lowered for silver, and all kinds of crazy counterintuitive stuff out there. So remember that these markets are not organic. You know, the silver, the demand for physical silver does not drive the silver market. The commodities, the options, and the short term, that is. Long term, it's a different story. But again, boy, there's so many places to go when you're talking about silver and gold. And I can jump down those rabbit holes, but we've been down them so many times. So I'll try to stick to the new stuff and what's going on. So, in my opinion, we are at that mark where we're going to see that waffling between 30 and 35 next, once we break that, consistently break this $30 level. When it hits above 35, are we going to see that, that straight candlestick, that straight up mark, that straight up line? Tough to say. Again, tough to say. Really, in my opinion, the silver market being so cheap and where it's at right now, the only thing that's going to move price of silver, because obviously it's not going to happen in the paper option derivatives markets organically. There's not going to be a lot of retail folks out there calling their brokers and calling people, yeah, I want to buy silver because I don't think there's any left out there. Well, maybe. But again, that market is really determined by large commercial banks and the people that they trade for, obviously, because a lot of them are just, doing trades for company, doing trades. But very crooked market, in my opinion. But it'll change. And when it does, it'll be big. Right now, platinum, platinum's kind of okay. It's hanging above that $900 mark. I haven't seen it whipsaw below that 900 yet, but platinum kind of hanging on and just not doing jack shit, actually. and I think really, if you think about it, the best time to buy any asset, especially a physical asset, I think is, other than a physical asset that nobody needs anymore, which is not the case with gold, silver, and platinum and palladium. I think the best time to buy any physical asset is when it's just like dead. Nothing's happening to it. In my opinion, here's a great time to stack platinum and probably palladium too. But problem with physical palladium is just I don't know anybody that really trades it, and the premiums are just stupid sick. So you really don't, I don't know. I think palladium, there's got to be another market to play, that paper market. I hate to tell you to do that, but more than likely that's true. However, maybe right now you can really buy palladium dirt cheap, as far as physical goes. Let's get into, I think gold is going to be down on Sunday night, but let's see what happens. And I'd say that is because that's when it typically gets monkey hammered and spoofed in the overnight Sunday markets until Monday morning. And then New York is closed, obviously, I think, for Labor Day. So again, great time for them to monkey hammer markets down on Monday. But I think we'll be back up next week to where we are and higher. Again, that's my opinion. Tough to say, though. Tough to say. There's some folks out there, like I said, Vince, they're saying that gold is overbought, and we could see some lower prices for a little while. And a great way to knock the price of silver down is to knock the price of gold down, of course. However, gold is such a bigger, crazier, wilder, market. Well, not wilder and crazier, but such a far bigger market than gold. Much harder for the big commercials to do that, especially when you get big central bankers and such out there, bigger whales than the commercial banks out there playing in the gold market. Let's see here, where are we going? And again, central bankers would be those bigger whales. I kind of just haven't talked about markets for a while, but why not? If we're kind of comparing gold, it's nice to look at the gold price, silver prices, and where they're at, and what the Dow Jones is doing, and see if there's any relationships going on. I'm really surprised to see Bitcoin just not performing the way that I kind of thought it would. I mean, however, though, maybe I'm just being hard on it. I mean, Bitcoin at 59,000, considering where it started from, is pretty damn good. But it just, these big swings and this volatility in Bitcoin, and silver, I thought silver was a tough commodity to swallow and a tough pill to swallow with its swings and its crazy volatility. No comparison to Bitcoin, so. But there's guys out there that understand that market, and they're making good money on that market. I'm not one of them. However, I might start trying to learn a little bit about it. Maybe I'll do an interview with some some Bitcoin people out there that understand the market better than I do, that can explain it to me, and some of you guys too as well. And we'll see what we think then. World markets, I don't follow world markets really, but I believe they're important because particularly the global Dow and the Japanese markets are pretty important. And so far they've seemed to stabilize. I mean, according to what I'm hearing, I don't know why the Japanese market is so important to the United States. There's another thing I probably should have someone interview with, or have an interview with someone that understands that whole dynamic better than I do. I know, of course, I can go on Google and check it myself, but I'm a bit lazy at times. I want shit to be told to me. All right, I know that wasn't called for either. Brent, throwing in the language like that, I meant, let's see, gas and all that stuff. Futures market and silver, we've got 2886, sub $29, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I think we're going to get banged on silver as well on Sunday night. Good opportunity to buy the dips if you can on Monday on the physical. I mean, if you can buy physical, and it is still cheap, folks. The premiums are still cheap on this stuff. And then take a quick look at treasuries, and again, another market I don't understand that well. I understand what they are, but not how they work necessarily. All right, let's move into an article I wanted to talk about, which I thought was pretty cool, and gata.org. I've been reading this site for years. Used to read you guys articles off this on a daily basis. I remember for the first year or two, I was doing videos 5 days a week. And listen, I'm still proud of my 5-day week video. When I first started doing videos for, I think, nearly 2 years, I didn't miss a day, not a single day. Every day that the market was open, I did it. And then it kind of everything changed after my father passed and other things too. And not to mention that on a daily basis, content comes hard. Comes hard to find with content. You sound like a broken record. And repeating the gold prices, which anyone can go look at the gold price. They don't need me repeating it. So there's my excuse. And okay, I had to feed my ego there a little bit, thinking about how great I once was. I'm only kidding. Let's see, I was never great. Let's see here. Where are we going? China's, man, there was another article I wanted to, China's silver takeover may aim to dry the West. I thought that was pretty cool. Here's one of the things. A lot of people out there know mining stocks. I don't know them very well, and I've always kind of wondered, tried to understand them. I saw this article on gata.org. And by the way, gata.org, I forgot to mention to you guys that haven't watched my videos, you should have it bookmarked on your favorites up there because they really do come up with some good stuff, and they talk about how the gold markets are manipulated by the big central bankers, which some people don't believe, but more and more people are believing that now, and the impact that Biz and other, and the impact of the de-dollarization. gata.org is a great place, great source to find this stuff for free. Stephen Gleason, holding gold yields better returns than mining for it. With spot gold prices at record high, investors might expect the shares of precious metal mining companies would be trading at record high prices, and by and large that is not the case. And I'm hearing this from friends of mine and people on X. Again, I'm a big fan of X. For if you remember, I got thrown off Facebook for telling the truth some years ago. I think we still have a Commercial Rare Coin Facebook account, but my personal account got tossed because of their censorship issues. So I've been on X more, obviously, and it's a much better platform anyway as far as non-censorship and reading things that you're not going to read on other platforms. So where I was going with that, I forget. On X, some of the guys on X were talking about mining stocks and why they're why mining stocks are very disappointing right now as far as price performance and all that. And let me just finish up here. Mining stocks, as represented by the HUI Gold Bugs Index, are still underwater by more than 40% compared to their 2011 highs. And that's despite being pulled up significantly this year by soaring gold and silver prices. There are a large variety of reasons why most mining shares have lagged the metal. First and foremost, mining is tough. Seems like an obvious one. Business that is fraught with risk. Even when the value of the mine's end product goes up, the cost of everything getting out of the ground can go up even faster, and that's very, very true. That's a very astute statement there. I've mentioned that a couple times when I've talked to some of my friends that do mining stocks. And let me continue here. During periods when market prices for metal fall below a mining company's all in sustaining costs. It may choose to sell at a loss. That's because it would be impractical for a mine to lay off all its workers and like expensive equipment, sit idle while waiting for market conditions to improve. Why fall below mining companies? All that just doesn't seem to be the case. I think the author really could have made a better case on a couple other things here, but let's move along here. Because markets are way up, and you would think that a smart mine would maybe hedge themselves somewhat. I'm not quite sure. Hedging also eliminates the chance that you're going to make a lot of money too, I think. If someone knows better than that, let me know in the comment section. Let's continue. But there's another option available to precious metal mining companies during times when their product is being undervalued. They can have their gold or silver in their name. And what he's saying is that the miners can hold their own product rather than sell it or whatever. And I probably would read the rest of that right there. Oh, that's Keith at Money Metals, I think, and he's probably talking about the mine that he's opening or something like that, where he's going to pay out a certain amount of money. That I understand even less. I'm not dissing it though, but again, I'm all for holding it yourself. But I think the problem with mining companies really is, and the real problem with mining companies is, are they profitable? That's my, I always ask this to my friends that are into mining stocks. So, what mine is got this, and here's my idea of why a mining stock should be successful. Is they're producing a lot of gold. They either found a lot of gold or they found a way to get it out of the ground, for a good, inexpensively. Their expenses are low. It's run by great CEOs. I mean, a combination of any and all these things is a reason why I think that gold would, gold miners would do well. And if I saw a company that was producing gold out of the ground or they hit this great mine, of course, everyone would jump in that. But to me, that's why a gold miner should do well. And junior gold miners, I think, are much smaller mines and much smaller companies and stuff. Some of them don't produce gold at all. Some of them may not even own land. And that's what kind of befuddles me. But, what comes to my mind in gold miners is that that the price, and they said it's down 40%, of gold miners has nothing to do with, how good the gold mine is doing per se, especially in these junior miners. It has to do, in my opinion, with momentum and a huge number of suckers. Pardon my expression. I shouldn't say that. Not suckers, but bettors. People betting. All right, and there's going to be suckers that are going to be on the losing end of that. People betting that that the miners, that other people are going to jump into mining and mining stocks. It's kind of like, they all look at each other and they all jump in at once, and the mining stock just kind of takes off on these small junior companies. And then the guys that are successful and the suckers are the ones that don't get out fast enough. The guys that are successful are the ones that get out fast enough. So that's my opinion of junior mining stocks. You know what I mean? Not that they're making money, but it's like a pile-on trade, like a pyramid of some sorts. And forgive me, I know I'm going to catch a lot of hell from some mining stock folks out there and junior mining stocks, but that's my whole picture of the whole mining stock scene right there, junior mines. And I could be wrong in this, and if I am and you got some comments to make, please make them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to take a look at it and answer those as well. I'm learning as I go. That's what life is about, learning as you go. Okay. And I'm not going to say that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it because it's my opinion and I have the right to change it at any given time. China's silver takeover may aim to drain the West. Another pretty good article out here that talks about, here, let's kind of zip on that one. I'm going to click on that one. It was a little bit easier to read when I saw it earlier. There you go. Hidden war for economic dominance, China's secret weapon. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article because we'll be here for a little while, but this is very interesting, folks. Give me 1 second here. In 2023, China reportedly had a silver reserve of 71,000 metric tons, second only second only, there's a spelling error, I'm trying to say word to the silver producing powerhouse country of Peru, which boasted 98,000 million tons in reserve. The U.S. came in seventh on top of the list with a stockpile of 23 metric tons. Poland, Russia, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. If these numbers are correct, and I did not fact check them, if someone wants to do that, fine, let me know as well in the comment section. But 71,000, they're probably the next to Peru, and Peru is a producer of silver, and that's the reason that they own that much silver. But 71,000 metric tons, that's just enormous. And the question I'm asking myself is why? why does China reportedly have a reserve of 71,000 metric tons of silver? Well, they understand the value of silver. They probably understand how broken the COMEX futures markets, the LBMA, how broken and crooked they are, and that basically all they are is paper, derivative, and options markets, and a lot of them really don't have the silver to back them up. I mean, we know this. A lot of people will say, well, COMEX, you want your 5,000 ounce bar, go ahead and get it. But it's a well-known fact that COMEX doesn't have silver or 5,000 ounce bar to back up every trade they sell. And the reason they don't is because their claim is that they hardly ever have to make delivery, something along those lines. Again, if you want to correct me, please do so in the comment section. But the reason that China has that much silver is because they understand what a farce the market is, number one, and they also understand that it is super cheap, and they understand the value. There's a strategic value to silver. Think about the number of bombs going off in right now in the Middle East, and that we've got in Eastern Europe, the number of, the war there going on in the Ukraine, and the war going on in Israel. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of silver just being blown to pieces. On a strategic level, when it comes to war, well, there you go. Submarines, bombs, military equipment. I mean, any type of electronic military equipment is going to be covered in a lot of gold and silver, and I'll tell you why. It's because of corrosion, and they can't afford to make mistakes. A lot of this equipment is destroyed as well, never to be recovered. You're not going to recover some JDAM or whatever the heck it is that they're launching at each other out there. The silver, never. It's just like all the silver in the landfills that we have because we've thrown away all these electronic devices for decades. We're not going to recover that cheaply anytime soon. We're going to pay the price when the economy starts really ramping up, and silver is going to be really needed in the photoelectronic industry, solar, just in the electronic industry in general. And we find out that the refiners, the recyclers, aren't producing silver at the way they used to. I do believe that the Silver Institute's report on refining is completely secondhand refining, or secondary refining is just completely farcical in my opinion. And I believe that their mining statistics, the Silver Institute's mining statistics, especially during 2020 and 2021, are completely farcical as well. So I think the data is completely screwed that these guys are working with as well. But the Chinese, I think they're onto it. I think they know. And by the way, I'm friends with this guy online as well. Very intelligent guy. I mean, hey, listen, you don't have to be smart. You just have to know smart people and be able to assess the data that they're giving to you in a simple way. And apparently the Chinese, again, really big time, a lot of silver. Not just gold. They haven't just put gold in their vaults. They're putting silver in there because they see the importance of it, not just as a hedge against the falling dollar or the falling yuan or whatever it is, but as a strategic metal. The implications for the West, it says here, the rise of prices could have significant implications to the Western economy. Those who, it looks like it was written by AI. This could lead to higher consumer prices and further slow down. It was written by AI. I'm telling you, these guys are writing stuff by AI now. You kind of just recognize that. China is leading the way, at least they should tell us. China is leading the way in solar production. So there you go, growing demand, solar productions. Let's see here, 400 tons. Well, you know what, folks? Take a look. India's growing demand as well. The potential for a silver squeeze. I mean, all kind of interesting stuff here, written by AI probably. I encourage you to take a look here at that, and you can find it at gata.org. All right, let's go into what I keep talking about, X. Oh, X, Brian's new favorite thing, X. And by the way, there's Eric Ewing. Eric is into junior miners as well, and a big gold guy, loves gold, and silver too. Did an interview recently with Vince Lancy and Tom Luogo. I hope I didn't screw his name up. Forgive me if I did. And they talked about Chinese and the way Chinese view gold and everything like that. So very good article. I mean, not article. Very good podcast that was posted out here on X with those guys. And there's Vince VBL. And again, I'd say friend this guy for sure, because it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And I've always done well in life by trying to surround myself with people smarter than myself, and I think it's kind of served me well to some degree. And he's one of those guys I like reading and watching. He understands the technical aspects of markets. He is I believe, a trader. I'm not sure, from managed money or something like that. I should know more. But like reading his stuff. And I could go over some things with you here. In fact, we could just do a whole video on just some of the cool stuff that he comes up with that I could share with you. And maybe I'll start reading some more of his stuff, and we'll kind of go to his videos and things as well. But the new Ted Butler for me, right? I know you guys are going to say that. Some you're going to say, "Oh, you found your new Ted Butler." Not really. It's kind of Vince is a whole different kind of character than Ted Butler, and has a whole different aspect, and probably different end of the technical aspect, technical analysis of it than Mr. Butler did as well. Where are we going from here? Of course, you guys know I like zero hedge. We're going to get into zero hedge here in just a moment. Rafi Farber, gentleman I follow on X. I like. Unfortunately, he's in a really tough zone right now. I think last week he showed some pictures of his cars had some holes in it and stuff like that. Man, in the words of Rodney Dangerfield, Rodney King, sorry, Rodney Dangerfield, please take my wife. Rodney King, why can't we all just get along, man? And all right, yeah, I'm going to spend some more time out on X here. I think you and I, and all of us can have some fun here. Like here, I'm checking my things here. I'm trying to stay as unpolitical as I can, folks, but I'm having a hard time with it. The algos feed you all that political stuff. They just draw you in, Just when I thought I got out, they dragged me back in. Yeah, I forget what movie that was. Was that The Godfather, or was that... no, okay, I think that was The Godfather. Let's kind of go over some newsy things here, and I'm not going to be afraid to make comments on politics anymore. I kind of always felt that it might have dragged my videos down, given my comments, but who cares? I'm kind of tired of the alphabet format that I've been running my videos on for years anyway, hoping that X comes up with a much better video platform and starts taking over a lot of that business. And again, because of the free speech issues that they have and that they're more open with than the alphabet social media and video channels. All right. Nancy Pelosi says a quiet part out loud to Bill Maher. If most of you are wondering what that is, she basically said that her goal and the goal of the Democratic Party is to get more immigrants registered as American citizens. And why would the Democratic Party do that, folks? It's just simply for voting. You think Nancy Pelosi and any of these Democrats, I'm not saying any of them, but you think Nancy Pelosi and even the crybaby AOC and those others that are living the high life and getting great insurance and all this stuff are shedding any tears for immigrants? AOC may shed a fake tear here or there, good photo op, but they don't, man. The DNC doesn't give a flying F about immigrants at all. All they want is they want something from them, and they want their votes. Give them free shit, get them over here, and they'll vote for us. And that's the only thing they want. And why do they want more votes? They want more power. Let's say it in a couple sentences or in a paragraph. And that's the truth of who the DNC party really is. I like her. I don't like her economic policies, but I do like Tulsi Gabbard. I think a lot of folks out there I think a lot of folks like her now, especially the Trump supporters like her now because she's kind of moved over to Trump's side. But they were pretty nasty to her when she wasn't. I never was, because I respected the one thing that, listen, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Otherwise, you're screwed in life. You're never going to find that perfect candidate, that perfect person. You can't agree with certain things and disagree with other things. I think RFK Jr. said that in his speech when he threw his towel behind, and then kind of put his effort in behind Trump. And and the reason RFK did that, and the reason Tulsi did that, is because guess what, folks, man? Even they are getting sucked into the lesser evil argument and the lesser evil. Instead of getting good, smart, articulate statesmen to run for president, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, an independent, no matter who it is, we get these activists, we get these millionaires that forgive me for saying that, even if they've got a good heart and good intentions, but we don't get great, articulate statesmen that are in it to help America only, not in it just kind of for their ego, money, or because they're pissed off at the world, they want to screw the country up, which I don't know, I can't understand Democrats sometimes. But Tulsi is the anti-war candidate. I'm not anti-war, she's a soldier. what she understands what war does to this country. She understands what war does to the economies, and she understands how much billions and billions that we spend, trillions in our lifetime, trillions, zillions on war. She understands that, and I think a light bulb went off in her head at some point in her life where she said, this is just wrong. We should do everything we can avoid it worldwide. Bring the world peace. America should be the ambassador to the world. We should make friends with all these countries, enemies really with none of them, and we should stay the hell out of their business, all right, just like they should stay out of ours. I think Tulsi gets that. She's also like Rand Paul's the same way, but they're also both anti-spying from the CIA, anti-spying from the NSA, and anti-Patriot Act, because they know what that stuff really is, and all that shit really is, folks. Do you think that the CIA, the NSA, and I'm going to say the State Department, the DOJ, you think the people that actually work in the upper offices and the people that control those things give a flying F about any of us? They don't, folks. They don't. They don't at all. All right. They want more money. They want a bigger office. They want more money for their department, more money for what they're doing. They want to boost their egos. The idea that government agencies do their best, especially spy agencies, and how many we only know a handful of them. There's probably ones that we don't even know that exist out there that are screwing us every which way as far as our right to privacy and all this. Oh boy, I can go off on that. South China Sea flashpoint. Philippines accuses China of intentionally ramming Coast Guard vessel. That's just a hot point. Chinese know that at some point when America's at its weakest, which sure feels like it now, kind of, doesn't it? That they are going to push the buttons and probably go into Taiwan or try to get Taiwan to submit to them. And, there's not much the United States is going to be able to do about it, all right? I hate to say it, but unfortunately, our Navy guys that are out on these giant aircraft carriers are now, and whatever the major ships we have out there, but particularly aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers are so freaking obsolete right now. Why? It's almost like why even build them? Because of the hypersonic missiles that are out there right now, and the accuracy of these hypersonic missiles, and the destructive power of them, and the speed. Because they can't be stopped for the most part. There's been no defensive weapons to be able to really stop hypersonic missiles, despite what Ukraine is saying, and they're lying about it. The Patriot missiles do not shoot down hypersonic missiles. Period. All right. Maybe got lucky on one, but it doesn't happen, folks. And we've got giant. The moment we start sending a giant platform with planes on it and naval men, and we get in a shooting war with China, and we fire that shot to them, you can pretty much guarantee that there will be a hypersonic missile or two headed right for that aircraft carrier, which is doomed to say, it's going down. All right. And conversely, the same thing, or inversely, the same thing with China. If they have their aircraft carriers and their bigger thing, because I'm sure that we have hypersonic missiles. We just haven't talked about them in a long time. I bet you our technology might even be better. Or we may not have them in mass quantities. I've been a firm believer, though. We've had micro hypersonic missiles, ability, to take down objects without being seen. That kind. But anyway, there's a conspiracy theory. So that's a flashpoint that's about to happen. It just when we don't know. And more than likely, what will happen is that Taiwan will have to capitulate. The United States will not be able to help them without getting into a full-out war, which could risk also getting into a nuclear war, which is not unthinkable, considering that we've already been out there in a nuclear war in that part of the country. They look different than us. You don't feel as bad blowing them up when they look different than you. And that's not my feelings, folks. That's just the way history seems to tell us. If our enemy looks different than us, it's much easier to kill them and be more cruel about it. And if they don't speak our language, that's probably the tough thing which is going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. They speak the same languages. What a atrocious war that is. Wind farms are offshore Trojan horses. I'm not 100% sure that wind is not an option, but maybe we're just doing it the wrong way. Okay, so without getting in an article, there's my view on that. This man they're calling him the Darth Vader of Brazil, and what they've done with what this Supreme Court guy right here has done with Brazil is completely ignored their own constitution, Sound familiar, folks? Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's ignoring the Constitution." Our guys do the same thing here, trust me, but not our Supreme Court people. That's what makes this guy so dangerous in Brazil. And he works for Lula, who's nothing more than a Marxist dressed in socialist clothes. Oh, we're here to help the people. Bullshit. Tyrant, corrupt Marxist. That's who Lula is, and we all know that. Let's just talk the truth today. Let me just talk the truth with you. And another thing of free speech here. Let me see if there's nothing about gold and silver, unfortunately. Hey, there you go. Kamala's going to drive gold to $10,000. I'm going to double that, $20,000. I'll say that. But hey, I've got to ask Zero Hedge out there. I think the guy that runs it, I've sent him a few messages on X, but I don't even think he knows I exist. But hey, man, if you ever happen to listen to my videos, come on, some more gold and silver articles, particularly silver articles. You used to run a lot of them out there. Let's see some more of that stuff. And not just the guys that do the graphs, the technical guys, and the graph guys that some of them know shit. I was going to say don't know shit. All right, I'm going to move out of ZH and go over to gold and silver prices set to explode, which was last week's video. And as you can see, I have a question mark and exclamation. There's my out. But if you watch the video, you'll know that I wasn't surprised about prices of silver being where they were. I wasn't surprised about the price of gold. And I basically talked that I feel that we're going to see some, lower prices as well. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And the same thing about silver that I tell you all the time. So my message has not changed much. However, there were a lot of people thinking that we, with the all-time highs in golds at 2,500, that we're going to just see it continue to march up to 3,000 here sometime soon. I don't see that happen. And again, I kind of go over that in last week's video. Let me get one of the things that I've always loved to do in my videos is to answer some of the comments when I'm able to. Sometimes there's just too many, and I'm going to kind of blow that up a little bit here, folks. And then I'm going to go down there and just looking at some of these. Oh, by the way, I might have lunch with a couple guys out there. I think I tried to, my friend of mine, and Rafi Farber actually, hooked me and Andy Scheckman and, oh man, gosh, he's going to kill me too. I'm having dinner with him now. Arcadia Economics, Stephen, Mr. Marcus, I'm sorry. My brain it just flew right out my head. Might have lunch with them or something like that, discuss some things. I'm looking forward to it too, because it's always nice to meet other people in the industry that are doing the same thing that you are, putting out good information, and also I believe putting out good product too. And when it comes to Andy Scheckman, especially myself, I'm going to brag about myself, but just good people in general. It's always nice to find people in the industry that are not crooks, and look at their customers and their people as people to teach. You know what I'm saying, and teach them things. And one of the big things that I've always said is that saying that you can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. You can teach a man how to fish and he'll eat for life. And my goal has always been with my videos and here in my store and even with my employees has been to try to teach you how to fish. All right, it makes for a better buyer, number one. And people never forget who taught them how to fish, all right? You always remember the people that taught you good, solid information that made you a better trader or a better person, whatever it may be. You always remember those people. So why not be one of those people? And we are here at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, and my staff is the same way. All right, little plug there, and I'm going to tell you why you should buy gold and silver from me at the very end and show you my store. Because I got better prices than Atmex, SD, and JM Bullion. I'll beat their prices. I'll beat all the guys' prices out there. You bring me any big deals too, easy to beat. Even the small deals I can beat. But remember, we are a brick and mortar store here. So on certain amount of ounces, we can only do brick and mortar. But if you're buying large quantities of gold and silver, I can beat anybody else out there that's going to ship it to you. So if you're going to have stuff shipped to you, give me a call or give them a call first and let me know. And again, I'm pretty sure I can beat that. Okay, I'd like to thank all you folks here for, thank you, sir, gold and silver. And I always say I'm not going to answer each one, but Tracy Norman, greedy politicians, gold and silver. The Morgan Report had a video on platinum. There may be an explosion in use and price. Boy, I have to look that up. Hey, if you get a chance, gold and silver, please put a link in that in the comment section in today's video. Thank you, Zipper Fix. Appreciate that. I seen one of with Rafi. You did a good job. Rafi made it so easy. He's such a nice guy, and and I was so comfortable with the conversation. And I know his sense of humor is, I have a very similar sense of humor because I know that because of the movies he quotes and the cartoons and things that he puts up. Yeah, great guy. Made it easy for me. Thank you, ZipperFix. Appreciate that. CPM Group, Jeff Christian talks about Ted Butler and the controversy that sounds when he lost his license. Send me a link to that, too. I'd like to know more about that. It's kind of interesting to hear that. I'd like to hear more about the gentleman that passed away. Michael, glad I didn't sell. Yeah, if you're ever in town, any of you are ever in my area here in South Florida, I'm in Lauderdale by the Sea. We're here 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Make sure you call to check that I'm in because I get so much stuff going on. I'm not always in the office, and if you made the trip to come over to see me, I definitely want to meet you and shake hands with you. Tom says RFK went down the line laying down lies. We've been told absolutely 100%. In fact, his speech, I talked about it in this last video, was just epic. RFK's speech when he threw in the towel and kind of threw his weight behind Trump was just, it was the truth bombs that you want to hear from an articulate statesman, and that's what I was talking about. The kind of president that we want. All right, RFK may not be that guy. Maybe all his policies, maybe he's changed a lot of things over the years, but the speech just blew it out of the water for me. Michael, 100% agreed. We must get loud. CPM Group, there you go. I think I read that again. Sorry about that. I always question authority. My favorite question in the court and everywhere is what article, section 3.2. Oh boy, you're going to drag me down that hole now, huh? Folks out there, one of the things I love about my comment section, you guys come up with good stuff. Anyone want to reply to that, let me know. You can reply in this last week's video or this week's video. Thank you, Gold and Silver, for watching. There is one party with two wings. Hi, Brian. Hope all is well. Enjoying a delicious bottle of Merlot while watching. Yeah, thank you. If I do my videos in the evening, it's usually a Merlot. If it's in the daytime, morning, it's coffee. In fact, a sip of coffee to Michael Matthews here. You always have given me the cheers up coffee cup. Hi, Brian. Hope all is well. Wilfred Vasquez. Yes, sir. Nice to see you there. Oh, I'm sorry. I just read your thing. And Google Shadow banned me. Yeah, I know. I'm not fond of the alphabets at all. The Dragonfly Project or Project Dragonfly. I looked that up. That was kind of interesting. Thanks, Chris McCormick. I appreciate that. Can you hold the price of silver down until pick it up 3 more ounces? I didn't have to. It looked like it did it automatically for you, Eric McDowell. Ed Steer was one of Ted's friends. In fact, I'm going to type that in right now, Ed Steer, just because a couple of you guys have mentioned that. I do want to read that article, and I have a bad habit of forgetting things. So, listen, yeah. How many people do this during their videos, set reminders? All right, let me move back to here. I just wanted to show that I really kind of want to, okay, let's take a look at that, guys. We'll look at that in a little while. Maybe I'll talk about some of the stuff next week. I remember reading Ed Steer stuff, but it's been a while. I bet you got that shoveling all that gold. No, the operation wasn't caused by the gold. I did actually tear my bicep tendon right off the bone, had to have it reattached. Trying to lift my motorcycle back on a trailer there when it dropped off. Stupidity. Glad you're back. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Follow Bix Weir. Road to Ruta. I watched some of his videos a long time ago. And forgive me, folks, when you guys ask me to watch other gold and silver videos, the problem I have, for the most part, it's like asking a plumber to go home and watch plumbing videos when he's done with work. And I know that you get that. So I don't always watch him, but I did see one of his videos sometime back. And he's the guy that sings and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Pretty funny guy. Pretty cool. Entertaining for sure. And that was my take on it. And seems like a really nice guy, too. My sense still, what white metals matter? Absolutely. Yeah, platinum and silver matter for sure. All profits for you says, I like listening to David Jensen. He focused more on default risk and comics and LBM. You know what? I'm going to just because, I want you guys to know that I actually learn from you guys out there, too. And I listen to my viewers. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. And you're not an expert in everything. Sometimes you have to, other people know more things than you. All right, I'll take a look and see if that's him. Excuse me. Let me go back to our video here. Let me continue here. Bunker Hill. Yep, that's Keith's thing right there. I believe we're talking about in Idaho. It's supposed to be open 2025. Keith is selling, I don't know, Keith. Is it Keith Weiner? Or maybe I'm wrong on that. Forgive me if I am. And again, my opinion. He's got some kind of thing where if you invest in his mine, he pays a dividend, he keeps the silver. Little complicated for me. And I don't know what but I'm always leery when someone, offers to keep my money and pay me an extra high interest rate for it, and this and that, this and that. But on the other hand, I can understand and see how it happens. But on mining, mining is risky. And again, I read about that mine. Is the Idaho Kellogg mine still a very viable mine? I don't know. It's been worked pretty good. But those are all questions that I'm sure that he would have never gotten into it without answering those questions first. And I really haven't looked. Some of you guys might know more than I do. Feel free to put it in the comment section here. John Davis says, many of us in Britain are watching the U.S. political scene, hoping that Mr. Trump can overcome the obvious electoral problems that screwed him last time. He seems to be the only hope against a worldwide, or at least west-wide, globalist takeover. Here we have an overreaching new government that claims a mandate from a small percentage of the population, most people being so disenchanted they didn't vote. Politics in general has become populated by the worst people. I suppose good people are easily crushed in a climb. Good people aren't just crushed, they just don't want to run. It's a brutal place, and you got to have a huge ego to be in politics, especially at that level, and government at that level. You got to have a huge ego. You almost probably have to be narcissist to some degree. Even maybe I was going to say psychotic, but you know what I was going to say. Anyway, let me read on here. Anyway, who in their right mind would want to spend their work life mixing with an awful group? Yep. I mean, you nailed it there. You really did. It's the same thing we have in the United States here, John Davis. Ditto, 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 ditto. Hey, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Eddie, appreciate that comment. A lot of people are talking about Ed Steele. I'm sorry, I already forgot the name. See, I told you. There's a huge line crisis being done by government. Yeah, they do. They do chuck stuff. Mark Hall, what's up, dude? Good to see you posting. And enjoy while we're here. And that's exactly true. You know what I mean? Don't take your days for granted. They seem to fly by faster too, and I'm certainly not older than some of you guys out there, so I don't want to sound like the young guy preaching to the old guys. But to you young guys that are younger than me out there, yeah, don't waste it. Silverliner, what's up? Hi, Brian. It's kind of ironic that you're flipping a coin near the part of the world I'm in right now. You're in the Philippines. All right, dude. I hope you're having a great time. Yeah, I did say fuck the Zucker. I did say that for sure. All right, second cuss word of the show. I hope you have a good time and safe travels back, sir. Great to see you making a video. Thank you, Strong Stacker. Goal number 1. Number 2. Yeah, that's true. Metals won't explode yet. They're diving back into the market, not the metals. Christopher Ward says, thanks for watching, Christopher. Rick Smith says, RFK speaks the truth. Trump speaks the truth. Go USA. Thank you, Rick. Can't argue about RFK. Trump, I think he speaks the truth. I mean, I didn't vote for him, and I honestly, I'm a libertarian, and I don't really vote for lesser evils, and I don't vote for Republicans or Democrats per se, but or not per se at all. I usually vote, libertarian, but I won't be this year. So I can't tell you who I'm voting for this year, and maybe I'll share that with you, but I haven't really made my mind up yet, to be honest with you. Mark Graham says, keep it up. I'm posting it. I tell you who I'm not voting for. By the way, let me cut that in. I'm not voting for any Democrat for sure, and I'm definitely not voting for Harris. No doubt. All right? I'd vote for Jill Stein before I vote for Harris, and I'd have to cut my wrist after doing that. All right, there you go. Okay, besides precious metals, that was satire, folks, by the way. And YouTube, that was satire. Besides precious metals, the best investment right now is a hot towel. Chinese and Indian physical demand will break the comics LBM rigging next month. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. John Gordon, you have a lot of wise stuff you say, and I believe you're right on that. The problem is the timing that we've had, John, and timing for us has been awful, but we're way overdue. We're overdue, and I think when it happens, it's going to be like a mainspring on a clock that just overwound. It's just going to boom all at once. Everything he says is true. I don't like to see people lose their money, but these banks need to be stopped, put out of business. That's true. Mac Brazel. 11 Bravo 84, thank you very much. Which decade? Yeah, man. Gold and silver set to explode. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time. Trust me when I say you're not going to go broke owning gold and silver. You're going to be very impressed with it at some point. And owning it has never hurt anyone. No one's ever gone broke owning gold and silver unless they bought it at the super highs and have been waiting since then. And again, buy the frickin' dips. Don't buy the frickin' highs. All right. Thanks, Hansel. Appreciate the comment and the watch. And it goes down once again. Yeah, though that gives you the opportunity again to buy the dips. But the thing is, when some guys say this, it's like, oh, it goes down once again. Go silver's going to go to zero. Gold's come on, give me a break. Here, see my cursor, Leon, Holly, and all you folks out there that like to make fun when gold goes down. This is what gold does in our, this is a historic picture of gold like this. All right, if I was to pull up the chart. Our time frame is a little bit like this, and this is what we see in our time frame. It's always going to be up, unless you only live for 10 years. Then you're kind of screwed. All right, and would I tell a guy that was 90 years old to buy gold? Hell yeah, I would. Good way to preserve wealth at his age, that's for sure. Would I tell him to buy silver with the volatility? Whew, that's a tough one. I don't know. And the only reason I would tell anybody to buy gold and silver, in my opinion, is because it's just so cheap and no one ever went broke holding on to it. Best deals out there, folks. Man, the premiums are just so good on all this stuff. You can still buy 100-ounce bars. I mean, let me see if I can grab my sheet real quick here. And where is Mr. Bryan's spreadsheet? All right. I don't know. Should I give you the quantity prices, or let me give you the 1 to 20 prices on silver eagles and stuff? Yeah, I tell you, most people buy like 100 ounces. So let me give you our 100-ounce price. If you're buying 100 ounces of 1-ounce rounds, we got them for spot plus 145, which is really cheap. If you're buying 1-ounce American silver eagles, we got them for spot plus $4.05. If you're buying 1-ounce maple leafs, we got them for spot plus $2.30. Those are for quantities between $100 and $500, or 100 and 500 ounces of silver. Again, if you find one of the big companies out there like Atmex, SD, and JM, and they're cheaper, let me know. I'm pretty sure I can beat their prices, unless it's a lost leader. Some of those guys do lost leaders where they give the shit away only so they can get your phone number and your mailing address, so they can bombard you with stuff and sell your name and phone number to another gold and silver place. We don't do that, okay? As far as gold, and let me do... a lot of folks that come in here, the average Joe usually buys 1 to 10 gold coins. So I'm going to stick within that realm. We do have quantities in 20 up, which are quite a bit cheaper. Actually, not quite a bit. The difference between gold eagles, between buying 20 of them and buying 10 of them, or 9 of them, I should say, is really like $10. That's it, surprisingly. So if you're buying 1 to 9 Krugerrands, or not Krugerrands, American Eagles from us, they're going to cost you spot plus 105. If you're buying 1 to 9 Gold Buffaloes, they're going to cost you spot plus 130. If you're buying 1 to 9 Krugerrands, they're spot plus $80. All right, which is really the best deal. You can't beat how cheap KRs are right now. Even Maples are spot plus 95. And again, folks, remember my prices are really good. So if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, especially if you live in South Florida. I mean, if you live in South Florida, there's no reason to go to Atmex, SD, and JM. You can come here straight and come talk to someone face to face. It's going to give you a great deal, give you great service, make sure you're in the right product, no guesswork on your part. And again, we're not here to collect your name, address, and telephone number to send you a bunch of junk mail or to sell your name to someone else. Besides that, I guess that's it. And we'll also, listen, I can't sell gold and silver in small quantities like SD, Atmex, and JM can. In quantities of less than like 10 Krugerrands or Eagles or Maple Leafs, and quantities of less than like 500 ounces of silver. If you don't live in South Florida, you can't visit my brick and mortar store. My number one recommendation, go local first. Go local first. Find yourself a good local dealer that'll match Atmex, SD, and JM prices like I do. And that's what I suggest. And if you can't find anyone, drive an hour, because you're going to have to sell this stuff someday. So it's always worthwhile to have someone you can go to, because you are going to have to sell it, and you're not going to be comfortable putting it in the mail and selling it back to SDJM or whatever. You're not. I'm not even doing it, and I've been doing it for a living. So my suggestion is find a good local dealer, and you have to do an hour or so to do it. If you can't find any local dealers and you're buying smaller quantities, then SD is probably the cheapest out there. They're cheaper than Atmex and JM, I believe. And there might be some smaller companies, but those are the three companies that I wouldn't worry about going bankrupt and taking my money. As far as what I was going to say, if you live outside my brick and mortar location and you're buying large quantities, then I can deal with you, because I can afford to do the shipping and the insurance and all that other stuff. So before you order from Atmex, SD, JM, And if you don't have a great local dealer, and before you order from the other guys out there, the biggies out there, the big respectable guys out there, call me or call me last. I am pretty sure I can beat their prices, get it delivered to your door, and give you good advice as well. And certainly better advice than what you're going to get from an online service where you can't talk to anyone. All right, folks, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals saying think for yourself and question authority. And most of all, most of all, question yourself first, because we have been lied to since birth. All right, all of us have been. In best intention lies: Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, and all that stuff. We've been lied to since birth, folks, and our government and our financial institutions are even worse. All right, to some degree. And our school system, our schooling system. I don't even want to talk about colleges now. So question what you think you know, because you can't question others if you got it wrong yourself. And of course, always question authority. Folks, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, please give us a call. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. We have a brick and mortar here in South Florida. If you don't live in South Florida and you're buying large quantities of gold and silver and you don't have a good local dealer, before you call Atmex, SDJM, or any big respectable guys out there, give us a call or call us afterwards, because I am certain I can beat their prices and get it delivered to your door and give you good service and all that other stuff. Well, that's it, folks. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and let's see what happens on Sunday night. And I really appreciate you all watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. Talk to you soon.